La La Land is a modern musical aired in 2016. Under the director of Damien Chazelle, starring Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling, the movie takes place in Los Angeles. It tells the journey of two young people pursuing their dreams who encounter love but eventually part due to their ambition and misunderstandings. Its rich use of cinematography, mise-en-scène, color and lighting choices, and music creates a compelling narrative focus on the juxtaposition of the idea of reality and the perceptions. Different than many movies where ending is either filled with happiness or tragedy between the lead characters, La La Land produces two different endings for them. One as the reality, and the other as what would have happened if they made different choices and decisions. As Amy Nonaki is writing her master thesis, this was only Mia's fantasy of an alternative ending of the narrative. An alternate narrative is being told in which Mia and Sebastian have an uncomplicated relationship and have a child together. The reality, however, is that 5 years after Mia and Sebastian parted ways, they both successfully completed and achieved their dreams. Mia became a famous Hollywood actress, has a family, and Sebastian opened his own jazz club. The epilogue then portrays the tension between unrealized dream and reality, continuing the use of cinematic techniques through narrative, visual scenery, and music. In La Bouisse's master thesis, he mentions the idea of duality and parallelism shown throughout this film. He states, "Reflections where echoes of certain moments, themes, locations, and visuals are very present in La La Land." This idea is best exemplified in the epilogue, where a series of alternative versions of events happens. As Sebastian starts playing on the piano, the film seamlessly transitions into an alternative reality, visually transporting audiences back to their first encounter in the restaurant. It shows the different choices Sebastian could have made. Instead of walking past Mia in frustration, Sebastian leans in and kisses her. The side-by-side comparison portrays an illusion and allows the audiences to experience the characters' internal thoughts and desires. The scene lighting carries tones of red, signifying the warmth and passion of the idealized dream alternative. Mia's one-woman show also plays out differently in this dream sequence. The reality, shown earlier in the movie, hosts the show in a bluish, cold light in a nearly empty theater. This visual choice emphasizes Mia's self-doubt and disappointment on her path. It reinforces her loneliness as she faces the small audience and the empty seat reserved for Sebastian. However, in the epilogue, the lighting shifts to a warm, golden color punctuated with the sensuality of Mia's red hair. The seats which were once empty are now filled with enthusiastic audiences applauding loudly nonstop. Especially Sebastian, who is no longer absent, cheering for her. A strong visual contrast is created, reinforcing the dreamlike qualities of this epilogue moment. The music of the epilogue recalls all the music that has been played throughout the movie, intertwining key themes that represents different stages of Mia and Sebastian's relationship. This technique, known as leitmotif, where certain dramatic themes are given a kind of sonic signature, reinforces the emotional depth of the scene by recalling past moments through sound. As the music plays the same piano melody as when they first met in the restaurant, in the album titled Mia and Sebastian's Theme, the lights dim and the camera movement becomes more fluid, blurring the line between past, present, and imagination. Towards the end of the epilogue, the montage of film tapes showing Mia and Sebastian's moving together, raising a child, and living a happy life creates an illusion of a lost reality. The film's cinematography shifts and adopts a handheld grainy aesthetic which recalls personal home recordings. This visual shift intensifies the emotional weight in the stream. Like composer Justin Hurwitz shares, "I was just trying to write music that I thought was emotional and full of color and texture that worked with the cinematography and the performances. The soundtrack blends in perfectly with the cinematography to create the desired effect and message. The reprise of City of Stars in the background reinforces this. Initially, this song symbolizes their shared dreams, but the tone becomes more bittersweet in the epilogue.
You can relate to what's going on, how they're both kind of chasing, their respective dreams, but, fundamentally what they're doing, I think that's realistic in the sense that you have to go and fight for what you want and keep doing and keep failing.
I think just because of the way that the film is shot and the way that Chazelle framed the entirety of that relationship, the fantasy scene doesn't really come off as much as fantasy. It's more so like we're understanding this is exactly what would have happened. And that last look at the end of the film carries that fantasy into such a gravitas and like such a weight. That look pretty much says, we did it.
The epilogue ultimately creates a sense of bittersweet regrets. While reality remains irreversible, the dream provides a space as an emotional escape that briefly restores lost possibilities to life before they finally fade away. It leaves the audiences wondering if their story would end up in a different path in an alternate universe.